Hello.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Caleb, and this is the King's Advocate podcast. This episode's a little bit different. And why are you laughing? I don't get it. This is my face.
Probably.
So basically, what?
Whoa, no. Are we not restarting?
No.
Don't edit any of this.
Just leave it. Okay, so this episode is not. It's a little bit different in that we are going to go ahead and talk a little bit about, what our expectations were for this podcast, kind of, how we felt like it's gone, and hopefully we'll get some feedback from you guys. This is kind of the end of season podcast. I guess it's the interim because we're going to kind of take a little break, December to maybe early January. We're going to try to be back as soon as we can, but the holidays are definitely busy, so we're probably not going to have a great chance to meet in between now and then. So
What I would like to do would be get back in January. Probably not like super early January, maybe like the second or third week of January, and then start.
He was about to say the second or third of January. Not super early.
Not super early, but like the second day. So maybe like mid-January and start recording, extra episodes. Then when we decide to open it back up in February, we'll have extra episodes recorded and we can, have more flexibility. Maybe bring in like a couple evangelists in January, do some episodes. And that way we can spread them out and keep it interesting and flowing and keep ahead of our workflow. I think would be kind of cool.
Because I'm sure it gets boring just hearing us every week or every other week.
Yeah, that's true.
We need some new voices on here.
That's why we added Brandon, like, in the last part of the season.
Yeah.
It's worked out.
That's all we got to say on that.
So we also, like I said, we'd like your feedback. And then as a special treat at the end of this, we're going to clip on some like bloopers of us trying and failing to
Have a podcast.
have intros to say the word weed eater or weed eating. So, but to start off, Isaac, what were your expectations? How do you feel like it's gone?
When this idea was first introduced, the main idea of the show was to have conversations with each other, biblical conversations with each other, outside of just Bible studies, and grow our bond together to be stronger Christians and brothers. And I didn't think it would get this far.
Yeah, definitely.
I didn't know we would have 20 to 30 listeners every episode.
When we reached 1 million subscribers, I was like, wow, we're doing good.
Wow, and then I woke up.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that we've been at this for so long, I was worried at first that it was going to fizzle out, but I'm really glad that we've been able to stay together. I'm really thankful for these guys that I'm able to call my friends and my brothers that took this good idea and made it into something great. And I think, in a way, we've succeeded, at least in a few aspects of the... Well, I mean, if you listen to our episode 2, our mission statement, I think we've kind of accomplished some of the missions we set out to do, especially the, having conversations with each other. Because I've noticed that when we're not recording, even when we're all together, we tend to have more biblical conversations scattered within our sports conversations and our work conversations. And it's been a real blessing to me, at least, to be able to have friends as good as you guys, that we've been able to sit down and do this together. And adding Brandon was just a blessing in and of itself too, because I mean, Brandon's flexing, but I mean, we went from 3 to 4, and it's just been great things ever since. I mean, even when Caleb had to take a couple episodes off, I mean, Brandon was here to fill in, and it was just.
Whoa. But he's not a replacement.
No,
okay,
no,
let's
no.
get that straight.
No,
Brandon.
Caleb is replaced.
But I mean, it wasn't. I mean, how boring would it have been if it was just me and Ryan talking back
That
and
would
forth?
have been pretty boring.
Isn't that basically what it is now?
Shut up!
But I mean, I'm really glad that we decided to do this. I'm really glad it's taken us as far as it's gotten, and I'm really looking forward to season 2 and all the things that hopefully it brings. and I'm just really glad that we've been able to be good friends throughout all of this and see Caleb get married and see Ryan,
Still be married.
still be married. And it's just been an amazing, great ride to be friends with you guys. And
Can't believe it's coming to an end. I mean,
I agree, Isaac. I think this has been really good. I've really appreciated having you guys over and getting together and talking about this stuff. There's definitely been some great feedback from people, and I agree. It's been a great blessing to get to grow closer as brothers and have more friends in the church and stronger bonds with people that I've known for years, but maybe haven't talked to quite as much as I used to. So I definitely agree.
Yeah, whenever y'all first started, whenever I wasn't a part of it, that was way back whenever I was still in college, which feels like a lifetime ago, basically.
so that picture,
As I was weed eating.
that'll make sense in a few minutes.
It started off as a thing that they would record and they would post it, and I would listen to it on the way to our Friday night Bible studies. And it was something that could, one that would get me more prepared for the Bible study that night, but it was also something that, whenever you, throughout the week, are, filling yourself with, people talking about God or reading the Bible. Sundays you have church twice. Wednesdays you have church. And then for me, it was Fridays I could listen to you guys talking, and then Friday nights we would have a Bible study. And now it's where on every other or so, whenever we would finally be able to, Mondays we would come and record. And it was something that I was, able to listen to, and it was, I joked about it, but it was really good whenever I was listening. Once I started, being a part of it, I completely stopped listening because I absolutely hate my voice. But it's been a real joy to come on and to be a part of this. I'm gonna try not to be as much of a tearjerker as Isaac was, but it's been really great, and I feel like I've gotten a lot closer with all three of you, and I can't wait till we continue to do this, and hopefully it's a long time before it does fizzle out, if it fizzles out at all.
Cliffhanger there.
that's where we end it. I more want to talk about expectations.
You've all failed.
Yeah, we didn't live up to it. We didn't meet our quota. No, I'm kidding. I had a lot of expectations going into it, and I have more now than I did when we started. Because when we started off, I wanted to just record something that wasn't happening on Sunday or Wednesday. And that expectation was met. There's something else other than just that now. We've had more biblical discussions than we would have had we not started this. So my expectations were met there. But now my expectations are I want to focus on engagement, because another one of the reasons that we started this was to encourage biblical discussion among people and to get people thinking about the Bible and talking about the Bible. Because it's not, when we started talking about, hey, maybe we should do a podcast, and Isaac brought that idea up to us how many months ago? I don't even...
a long time ago.
I think the original idea was brought up in October of 2020, I want to say.
Wow, it's been a year?
That's crazy.
A year?
Wow. A year? But anyway, back when you brought that idea up, that was what was going through my head was, you're right, we don't have enough discussions about the Bible. This can help us and other people talk more about the Bible and discuss things. I want to focus on that more in season 2 and engaging with people and getting feedback from people. The first couple of weeks we got a fair amount, an appreciated amount of feedback from people who, we're putting a foot forward and saying, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Maybe you can talk about this, or I've been thinking about this. Can you look into it? And then, we did, and we talked about it. I think most of the things that people talked to us about, we eventually talked about, I think. over this last year.
There's one email we haven't quite responded to yet, but hopefully
Yeah, we'll
get to that
definitely-
in season 2.
Definitely be looking into that. But I want to do more of that. That's what I want out of season 2 is more engagement, more feedback, more talking about the Bible. We've got a Facebook page. We've got a Facebook group. We've got, the Instagram account. We're working on a website right now, and that'll probably be live by season 2. It'll have all the links and all that. And possibly maybe like a forum where we can have discussions and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Well,
So.
for me, at least before I joined the podcast, what y'all were doing and what you just talked about is exactly what happened to me. I felt more engaged with you guys. There'd be times whenever I would listen to it that I would, maybe have a question about it, or maybe I thought one of y'all was completely wrong. And I would, no, I'm just kidding. But I would, text you guys or message you guys, or later that night at Bible study, I'd talk to you guys about it, and we would, maybe talk about the question, whatever it was. And, it made me feel more engaged with y'all, and I'm sure it made y'all feel more engaged to be able to talk about, other questions that people have on these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? What did you think about season 1?
Oh, I mean, I thought I already went. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I appreciated the ability to get together and have more time talking about the Bible, just like all of you. I thought that it was good for me because I felt like I grew with some of the questions we got asked, and I learned a little bit more. Particularly about the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. That's the one that definitely comes to mind. So I'd love to have more of that and to have hard questions and hopefully get an answer for them, because I think that's probably what makes me grow most as a Christian is being asked questions that I don't know the answer to and having to go and either talk to somebody or try and study it out myself and find out the answer to that, because that really helps me grow. So that was definitely one of the things that I really appreciated.
It was an interesting question. I think we questioned it ourselves on the podcast, and then people...
And then we got feedback about it.
brought it up. And then all 3 of us went out
And talked
to people about it. So goal accomplished there, and that's what
Huh?
that's what we're wanting more of.
What is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit? That's what the question was.
It was like episode 1.
I think it
I-
was
I
episode
think.
1.
What's funny though is before we sat down and did episode 1, Caleb brought the topic up. We were talking about corrupt communication, and he brought up blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. And Ryan and I both went, I don't know if we should talk about that just yet, because we don't really understand that. And he brought it up anyway, but it turned out to be great.
Episode 1, we're going to go over all of Revelations.
We're
Okay?
talking about Revelation and Daniel. So. Yeah, but that's kind of what I thought. I really liked that, and of course I just enjoyed having everybody over to see you guys more, because
Yeah.
the more I see my brothers and sisters, the better off I am. So
Which one of us is your sister then?
y'all make that distinction.
Nose goes.
Oh,
Isaac's the
dang it.
sister. I mean, I know this episode's supposed to be shorter, so I'm thinking let's wrap it up and throw some bloopers on the end of it, and see y'all in season 2.
Yeah.
Well, before we do that, I just want to mention something really quick. So even though this podcast is going to be gone for a couple of months, there's still several other podcasts you can be listening to fill the time if this is the only one you listen to for some reason. I would definitely recommend 15 Minutes to the Big Idea. He's going through, well, I don't know if he is right at this moment now, but at the time that we're recording this, he's going through the book of Galatians.
Who's
and
he?
Jordan Dancer. He's going through it in very deep detail. He did 9 parts on the fruits of the Spirit, if that gives you an indication of how deep he goes. And if you don't want something that in-depth, you can check out the Brother Cousins podcast. They spent 2 months going over the subject of love and what it actually is, agape, and all the other 3 types that they talked about. And then in November, they're talking about what they're thankful for. And I know that the topics were like they're thankful for the forgiveness of God. They're thankful for the love that they have for the brethren and that they're able to share with each other. So I would definitely recommend checking them out as well while you're waiting for us to come back on the air.
And in the meantime, even though we won't be back until February,
Like January, February, something like that.
please do send us stuff and questions and verses and things that we can,
Suggestions.
things that we can research ourselves. Please do challenge us with the Bible so that we can grow and that we can talk about it and study it
And hopefully edify y'all as well.
and talk about it and maybe help somebody else. So please continue to give us feedback. You can send us an email, and that's linked on all of our platforms. You can go to our Instagram page, our Facebook page, send us a message. We will respond to that and then look into it the best we can. So please don't think that you can't still send us stuff to work on, and that would help us and hopefully help other people too.
We are the King's Advocate podcast. Enjoy some bloopers.
Okay, bye.
Hi, everyone. This is Isaac with the King's Advocate podcast team. Right now, I'm by myself editing the podcast, and we thought it'd be a good idea to share some bloopers with you guys. As you know, probably I edit the podcast and everything that goes into it, so there's a little bit we have to take out, not usually too much. Usually it's like right at the start of the episode, as you'll find out here in a minute. But for right now, I'll just be your captain into the minds of Caleb, Brandon, Ryan, and I, and what happens when we make mistakes, basically, in our episode recording. By the way, if you can hear echoing, that's because I just moved into a house and there's no furniture, so it's going to be a little echoey, and I apologize for that. And also, at the moment, I have no Wi-Fi, so if this episode gets out late, I apologize for that as well. But this first clip that I'm going to share with you guys, we were trying to explain the verse that says to rightly divide the word of truth. And I have a tendency to sometimes be a little redundant. So from that moment, sparked a pretty interesting conversation. So we'll let you enjoy that moment.
That means to divide it to where it's right. To understand what it is that you're... I know, I'm redundant. What he's saying is you need to understand what it is that you're studying and to study it effectively so you can use it effectively. And that's... Shut up! Not again! I can't hold it! What in the world? I have never been this bad.
You said...
What I say?
He said, rightly dividing the word of truth means to divide it rightly.
I know.
And Ryan looked at me like this.
I know.
No way.
Sorry,
No
Isaac. You're like serious, and we're just cracking up over here for that, Isaac.
I know it was redundant.
I mean, so I've done that like from the pulpit.
Yeah.
I also quoted Hunger Games from the pulpit last week or 2 weeks ago, so that was embarrassing.
The Book of First Mockingjay. The Book of First PETA.
That would have been awesome.
First and second
PETA. Yeah. That's really good.
So much blooper content.
Okay.
That was a great one.
That was a good joke. Good joke. Okay.
So, as if you couldn't tell from this little clip, we laugh a lot when we're recording this podcast. A lot of what I do actually when I'm editing is I make the laughter quieter. Just because sometimes we get a little bit loud. Speaking of loud noises, a lot of times whenever we say something that needs to be cut, or we ramble on for too long and just say the same thing over and over again, or say something that's way off topic and someone says we should probably just cut that out, a lot of times Caleb will make some kind of loud noise to let me know when in the podcast I need to edit it out. The problem with that is I listen to the whole thing in order to edit it, and usually I'm wearing headphones. So the sounds sometimes scare me, and this was one of those instances where Caleb decided to do this. So just to let y'all in a little bit of the editing stuff that I do, here's that moment. Also, a warning to anyone who's wearing headphones. I did try to make this clip quieter, but it's still kind of loud, so be warned.
I had a metal shaving in my finger from work, and I was digging it out with my teeth. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, what
those
is
the
wrong
worst?
with you?
Yeah, they are the worst. You can cut that. Cut, Isaac.
Yes, sir.
Unless you want
time.
everybody to know.
See, that's how you'll know. Don't wear your headphones on.
And now we have come to our collective favorite clip from our blooper file. This particular time, we were trying to start an episode, and I believe it was Brandon's episode on anger. And if I remember right, this was the first time Brandon had led an episode. So it kind of had a rocky start. So he was trying to tell the story about a weed eater. If you'll remember from the actual episode, he was talking about how he was weed eating. What you didn't hear is that it took him quite a while to actually start telling the story. So we got some pretty nice blooper content from that conversation that you get to enjoy now.
And as I was weed eating, As I was weed eating, I hit. Shut up! I had it.
As the fourth one hit,
Stuck in a time loop.
as I was weed eating,
Broadcast.
I
finally started to go, and then you start making fun of me.
Okay, straight face.
I'm gonna say it again. When I say it.
Okay, I'm ready. Just don't look at me.
Okay. Okay. As I was weed eating, I hit a.
You're doing good.
Okay. As I was weed eating, I hit a rock, and the rock came back, and it hit me. Shut up! Or stop making
Dwayne Johnson.
I kind of want to just not even use this example.
You've got to though. You've already started. You've got to. Okay, we
I
got
want to hear the rest of the story now.
The Rock came back and hit me.
After our previous conversation, I was going to different
Big
places.
buff bald rock.
Okay.
So where do I need to start?
As I was weed eating.
Dang it! I was hoping I could start
Save
somewhere
this.
else.
Save this, Isaac.
Okay.
Or you could say just something like, so like I was weed eating and, just so you don't say it again.
I'm trying to clear my.
Okay. I'm just gonna say it. So I was weed eating. I don't even remember how I came into this. It was like 20 minutes ago.
It was anger. The reason you put the lesson together is
Yeah.
because you were angry because you started a new job, and as you were weed eating,
I started a new job at a golf course,
and more.
and I was weed eating, and okay.
All in all, this has been a great year for the podcast. It's been a great season, and we're all looking forward very much to season 2 and what that will bring. Maybe more bloopers, maybe some really good hopefully some very good content for all of you. Maybe some more conversations with some of you. But bottom line is we're super excited for what's coming next. So thank you so much to all of you for being such faithful listeners to the King's Advocate podcast. And we're very excited to see where this takes us. Without further ado, my name's Isaac. This is the King's Advocate podcast signing off for the last time this year. Thank you very much, and God bless you.